to Lunch and Learn. I'm Brittany.
I'm Alex.
We are talking all about macro hacks today. And by macro
Yeah.
hacks, we're just talking about ways to cheat the system, maybe, or
Yeah.
to incorporate more food for less calories, less macros. Um, and just, this has been requested. I know I had one client who commented on this based on a meal that I was eating one time when we were doing Lunch and Learn, wanted like some different hacks or tricks that we as coaches use or we've seen clients use. Um, Before we get into this, I mentioned to Alex, I want to just put a disclaimer at the beginning.
Yes.
All of these foods are not going to be for everyone. This is not how Alex and I eat every day. This is not how we expect our clients to eat every day. Some of these are going to seem weird to a lot of you. Um, if you're someone who you don't want to do artificial sweeteners, that's something that's like not on your okay list, ignore those. If you're a vegan, you're going to ignore some of these
Mm-hmm.
suggestions. But this is a way to incorporate more food or more volume for less calories or less macros. Maybe you are going out to dinner to celebrate something one night and you need to really watch it earlier in the day. These are some things maybe you can put into place, or you're working on getting more protein, something like that. So
Yes.
just know this is little special tricks you can put into place here and there, not how we're advocating someone to eat every day and the staple foundation of their meal or of
Yeah.
their diet.
I did
That's,
that. Yeah, because
yeah,
as you might have heard us say, um, macros have a lot of autonomy to where you can choose what you want to eat, and there might be times where you want to enjoy something super dense or not something super protein packed. Go for it. But then there's times where you are starving or hungry or you just want to make some swaps. And these are those little swaps to kind of help you out. So let's just
yeah.
dive on in. So, what is your favorite macro hack, Brittany?
Egg whites all the way. Um, you know, I think when most people start, I'm gonna take a stab, at least when it was me and most of my clients, most of the people I know, when they start tracking their macros or start on any type of nutrition journey, protein is like the first thing that you're like, oh crap, I'm not getting enough of that. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
getting too much of either carbs or fats, or maybe both, depending on how we eat. Because that's how our society's set up, right? Like protein's hard to find, quality protein in our everyday diet,
Yeah.
the standard American diet anyway, and carbs and fats are everywhere. When I think I first started as a WAG client, maybe I had like 160, 165 grams of protein. That was hard for me at the time. Now I feel like I could crush that pretty easily. But I remember just thinking, how am I going to get this? And egg whites, they're 100% pure protein. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and I added them to everything. I still do. Um, just simple things. Like if I'm making eggs in the morning, usually I'll do one egg and the rest egg whites to save on the
Yep.
fat. I will add egg whites instead of water whenever I can when I'm cooking. So when I make instant oatmeal, I'll add egg whites instead of water.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Making pancakes, gonna add egg whites instead of water. Um, what about you? Do you use egg whites at all?
Yeah, I used to use egg whites a ton. One of my favorite little savory option is elevating the plain old chicken and rice bowl and making a fried rice with it by adding in egg whites
Ah,
and then just, doing that on the pan and it just elevates it that much more. It feels like, oh, I'm eating some kind of Chinese dinner, but it's the same old chicken and rice, type of thing. Or so just you can literally add it to anything. You can make an omelet with it. I've had many dinners where I have some kind of protein plan like chicken breast, turkey breast, pork tenderloin, and I'm like, oh, I'm still short on 15 grams of protein. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna make omelet, a meaty omelet with the protein that I decided, and I'm gonna throw egg whites on it, and then I just made a omelet with that. So I've done that many, many times, and then all of a sudden it changes the dish to for me. Instead of just
yeah,
that plain chicken, now it's some kind of omelet and I can dash some hot sauce or add some, different flavors, and it's a different dish completely, and I've hit my protein. So I'm a
perfect.
big fan of egg whites. One other thing, a couple other things that I really like to help increase my protein, old tried and true protein powder. But the way that I like to to utilize this is I like creating a protein milk with mine. I know that traditional dairy milk has some protein in it, but I'm someone that doesn't, um, well, my stomach doesn't agree with dairy milk. So I create a protein milk by mixing protein powder and either almond milk, oat milk, any of those plant-based milks. And then now I just have a higher protein milk that I can utilize as part of my liquid for oatmeal, or I can pour it over some cereal. Maybe I have protein cereal that I want to enjoy. That's one of my hacks with the protein powder.
So
And it
smart.
just, yeah, and that way it doesn't feel
Yeah.
like I'm just chugging some, chalky protein or whatever it may be. I've added to a dish that now has created a little different flavor, is boosting my protein. I can't tell you how many times during, especially during the summer when it's really hot, I just don't have an appetite. So I end up just wanting like some cereal for dinner. And I know I still have to get protein, and that's my hack is to add protein
Yeah.
to some milk, mix it really, really good, throw it over some cereal. Now I just hit my protein goals and had a super light dinner because it's just too hot to eat anything else.
Yeah. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. Another
Yeah.
one that I think for me in my life anyway, I'm going to speak personally here. I always
Okay.
seem to be running out of fat.
Oh,
That seems to
really?
be my I could run out of well, I mean if I love myself. Like
Yeah.
I think my
I,
my natural tendency, if I were to just eat naturally,
mm-hmm.
I would tend to go eat more fat than I currently need with
Okay.
my activity level and where my body is at the moment. So,
Mm-hmm.
and if I'm going to eat, I want it to be food, not a condiment. I don't want to
Yeah.
waste my I don't want to say waste. I don't want to use my precious fat grams on a condiment. So, some of the biggest hacks for me have been condiment based. Like, let's try to see how we can get this amazing sauce that, this chicken sauce or this Chick fil A sauce or whatever it is, but a healthier version or maybe a more
Yeah.
macro friendly version that works for me. Um, One of the simplest things that someone has concocted is mustard and Frank's Red Hot sauce. I mix those two together and it
Ooh.
is perfect. Does it taste just like, um, Popeye's chicken sauce? No, it doesn't. Okay, everyone, no, it tastes different, but it's close, and
Yeah.
it sort of gets you the same flavor. Um, and I don't love just standard yellow mustard. It's not my jam. I like spicy mustard, but just plain old yellow mustard and hot
Hot
sauce.
sauce.
That
That's a
that's
new
it.
one to me.
It's
And I
zero.
love
It's like
hot sauce. I know. And I should try that out because that tastes amazing. I have used Greek yogurt as a condiment.
yeah,
It has that same kind of sour flavor profile as like sour cream. So that could be a great option if you're doing something like tacos and you are running out of fat and oh, you still have protein to fill. Use a little bit of Greek yogurt. You can also use it as a sauce, mix it. You can make my husband has made it into like a burger sauce. So I guess like Big Mac has like
oh
a sauce. And so he puts those different things like mustard, ketchup. He'll use a little bit of Greek
yeah,
yogurt and some other like little spices, herbs. And then he's made himself a burger sauce that's very similar to a Big Mac sauce or something like that. So you could even use it as thickener in recipes. So if you do have like some kind of creamy marinara that you're wanting um, to utilize, but you don't want to use like heavy whipping cream or half and half. Just throw in some Greek yogurt, and that helps create a little bit of that thickness, and now you have a higher protein sauce. So that are and those are some very simple ways.
yeah,
Mustard and hot sauce, and then using Greek yogurt. So
yeah,
non-traditional, but still super tasty.
totally. And then some of the and maybe ones that are these are more obvious, but they're worth
Yeah.
mentioning is let's look at your protein choices. Like if you have chicken thighs, bump
Mm-hmm.
it down to chicken breasts. That's going to save you
Mm-hmm.
on the fat grams. Or vice versa. If you're someone who needs more fat in your diet, reverse it. Instead of chicken breasts, let's do chicken thighs. Um, pull the skin off of the meat. That's going to help you. Trim fat off as much as you can. Look at
Yeah.
the percentage of fat in your ground meat. I have so many people who are doing like burgers that's 80/20. I'm like, at your store, do you have like 93/7? Like, do you have something
Yeah.
that's less fat? That makes a huge difference.
Simple swap. And that kind of
Yeah.
brings me to a thought that sometimes we're choosing turkey breast and we think that it's better than red meat, but you do have to be very careful because if you're choosing a turkey breast that's 85/15, well, you could have chose ground beef that's 85/15 and it's still the same amount of fat. So you want to kind of pay attention to that. If you're looking for a lower fat option and you're like, well, I'm choosing white proteins, the white meat proteins, make sure you're paying attention to that fat content. So that would be my, macro hack with proteins is just pay attention to if you need fat, go for the higher fat ones. But if you are watching your fat, make sure you're choosing the leanest option that is available at your store or to you.
Yeah. So we've talked about protein, we talked about fat. What about carbs? What are some
Mm.
ways to kind of incorporate more volume for fewer carbohydrates? What do you
So
got
this one,
there?
yeah, so there's a few different ones, and a lot of them involves utilizing vegetables because vegetables you can consume so much volume for so little carbohydrate content. So like say you're a big pasta person. I know there is nothing that is going to replace pasta, and that is not what I'm trying to get at, but if you're trying to save some carbohydrates, you could try spaghetti squash for like a noodle instead of a normal pasta noodle. I really like that, and I find that it's still because it's stringy, when you cook
Mm-hmm.
it, and it still provides a little bit of that similar mouthfeel. I know it's not exact, and that's not what we're getting at.
Yeah.
We're just trying to save some carbs. Zucchini noodles. I know that one kind of is not always the fan favorite because it can get a little watery. Um,
Watery. Yeah.
yeah, so that's an option to save some carbohydrates. What about, do you have any hacks for like rice that you've used?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like cauliflower has been the vegetable of, the star vegetable over the past few years. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I quite like cauliflower rice. I think it's good. Like I season it. I think it's good. I like it. Um, I will mix it. Like you can mix it half and half, like half
Yeah.
white rice, jasmine rice, which is what I normally have in my house. Just kind of cut it like half a cup of jasmine rice with, like even a full cup of cauliflower rice. That's gonna give you the same texture or
Yeah.
very similar texture as, if it were all jasmine rice, but way more volume. Um,
Huge.
yeah, huge. And it's cauliflower rice is something you can prep earlier in the week and it'll last through the week. Some
Mm-hmm.
vegetables get kind of gross through the week,
Gross.
but
Yeah.
cauliflower rice holds up pretty well. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I have not experimented a ton with like making like cauliflower pizza dough and that sort of stuff on my own. I have purchased them like
Yeah,
pre-made. I will say
same.
yeah, and they tend to be pretty good. We have some recipes on the WAG website with cauliflower, all sorts of things that I think are pretty good. People like them, but I just buy the pre-made stuff and it works just fine for me. So,
Same.
yeah.
Which brings me, I just remembered a little hack because I know we all have a pizza craving, but sometimes those pizza macros from the chain restaurants just don't fit. And but you still want to curb that craving. One thing instead of just going for like a cauliflower crust is I have used like flat out wraps or tortillas
Oh,
and
yeah.
have sprinkled or put some tomato sauce, pizza sauce, and then added my toppings that way and had like a little pizza at home. And that is a great way to cut back on carbohydrates, fats, because sometimes cauliflower crusts do contain a good amount of fat in it for some reason, at least some of the brands I've found.
Yeah.
So
It's a
that's a really
cheese, I
simple
think,
way. Oh, it could be the
holds it.
cheese that's in the crust. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that could be a very simple way, especially like the brand Flat Out. They are like kind of a lower carb, higher fiber type of wrap, and they crisp up really nice. It becomes like a flatbread pizza. So yeah, it's not a true pizza, but hey, it might curb a little bit of craving and still hit the macros and be something different than the standard chicken and rice dinner, type of thing.
Yeah. Same thing like with a sandwich, like use one of those wraps instead of
Oh
bread or a
yeah.
roll. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
good. The whole concept behind this is for those of us who like a lot of food. And I think you said this before we
Yes,
started, you eat with your eyes.
I do.
The whole idea, and I do too. I told Alex I get sad if I see a small amount of food on my plate.
Yeah.
Makes me sad. I want to feel full. I don't like feeling deprived. I don't like it. It kind of is like an anxiety thing for me a little bit, but I want to have a lot of food on my plate. So I need to make some choices that are going to allow me to have a lot of food on my plate and not gain body fat. There's a
Mm-hmm.
small little window where that can happen, right? So I have to make some concessions and some choices here, knowing that like, okay, if I want fruit, a banana might not be the best option right now. I might need to go with berries because
Yeah.
there's not as high of a carbohydrates in them. However, you just have to think about that. Think about what can I put on my plate that is going to fill the plate up as much as possible. That's
Mm-hmm.
going to be quality food for my body. I'm going to enjoy the meal because you need to enjoy it and leave me feeling great afterwards.
Yeah.
That's
And
the
some of these,
equation.
yeah. And so I think some of these hacks can do exactly that. And granted, these are not a exhaustive list. So if you have your hack that we didn't mention, please put it in the comments. I would love to learn new ones. I'm always constantly asking my clients for hacks of what they did because I want to learn too. I want to share the knowledge. So let us know
Yeah,
what your favorite macro hack is.
yeah, please do. We're always looking. Like Alex said, we need a new condiment or a new sauce or a new recipe. Let us know. We'll try it out.
Yep. All right,
All
guys.
right,
This was
guys.
fun. So
Yeah.
hopefully we see you next time. And if you have any questions that you want us to answer, please let us know.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Hey everyone! If you liked what you saw, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to our channel to get more content on nutrition, health, and wellness. Thank you for watching.